A strange pattern keeps surfacing in music history: whispers of rituals, fame, and fate surrounding some of the biggest stars on Earth. But when Diddy's name crosses paths with Rihanna's, and producer Jonathan Hayes' old confessions resurface, the story starts to sound almost supernatural. In this episode, we'll trace the web of secrets linking celebrity power, creative darkness, and whispered witchcraft. In the entertainment world, uncovering how Jonathan Hay, Rihanna, and Lauren were drawn into the same shadowy mythology that's followed Diddy for decades. By the end, you'll see why the truth might be stranger than the myth. How did Sean Diddy Combs become a lightning rod for occult speculation? From his bad boy logo's all-seeing eye aesthetic to the candle-lit imagery of his early videos, Diddy's brand has always flirted with symbolism beyond simple luxury. Behind the gloss, people saw a man obsessed with control of sound, image, and energy. Each reinvention seemed to mirror the language of ritual, shedding skins, ascending ranks, summoning attention. Even his lavish parties were whispered to follow unspoken rules. The mystery never needed proof, it just needed repetition. Because repetition in pop culture becomes belief. When Umbrella hit the airwaves, Rihanna transformed from promising newcomer to global icon. But her music video stirred more than admiration, it ignited a digital witch hunt. Viewers dissected her silver-painted body, the fire, the triangle poses, the lyric "Under My Umbrella" as an invitation into initiation. What she called art, some called ritual. The timing, her partnership with Jay-Z, the shift from innocence to power only deepened suspicion. In the age of YouTube theories, every frame became evidence. Rihanna wasn't just performing anymore, she was being decoded. Back in 2005, publicist Jonathan Hay was the man who leaked Rihanna's debut single Pon de Replay. That act, meant to create buzz, exploded into legend. Years later, Hay described the experience as spiritually chaotic, claiming forces beyond marketing seemed to take control. He wasn't invoking the supernatural literally, but his confession blurred lines between hustle and haunting. To him, success felt like possession, intoxicating, consuming, and impossible to stop. Whether he meant media momentum or something darker, his words fed a narrative that never died. Lauren, Hayes' former partner, spoke years later about those early days and how music publicity felt like entering a secret current. She described producers talking about energy transfers, karmic exchanges, and sacrifices made in the name of success. It wasn't satanic, she insisted, but the way people treated fame did feel spiritual, like a religion with its own strange commandments. Her recollection added fuel to what was already a burning myth, that some in the industry didn't just chase power, they invoked it. Every legend has a night it begins. For Diddy's, it was rumored to be a mansion gathering in the late 2000s, opulent, secretive, and off-limits to press. Guests allegedly wore masks, danced under candlelight, and whispered about energy circles. There's no hard proof, only fragments of recollection from people who claim they were there. But one thing's certain, once those stories hit message boards, the Diddy myth transformed. What might have been performance art turned into whispered evidence of something deeper, a ritual of power hidden in plain sight. Rihanna's later visuals amplified the pattern: red moons, snakes, veils, and inverted thrones. To most, they were aesthetic choices. To others, breadcrumbs in a coded system. Disturbia, Bitch Better Have My Money, Sledgehammer, each one layered her image with occult undertones. Academic critics later argued she was reclaiming the archetype of the dark feminine, using old symbols of fear to represent autonomy. Yet that nuance was lost online. The internet saw hexes, not metaphors. By the 2010s, every pop star had to pick a side, angel or witch. Years after his early PR stunts, Jonathan Hay publicly admitted to planting rumors to make artists seem dangerously intriguing. He called it mystery marketing. The plan worked too well. The occult undertones designed for buzz became belief systems for millions. Hay claimed he regretted how speculation turned into obsession, how fans built entire cosmologies around his fabricated narratives. But by then, the myths had evolved beyond his control. They no longer belonged to him, or even to the artists. They belonged to the culture. Why does the witchcraft accusation cling so stubbornly to women in power? History repeats itself from the witch trials of Salem to the blogs of modern fame. Female autonomy is often reframed as sorcery. Rihanna's control over her image, her rebellion against industry expectations, and her sheer confidence all became proof for conspiracy theorists. In their eyes, empowerment equaled enchantment. What they feared wasn't witchcraft at all, it was a woman unafraid to command her own narrative. Jonathan Hay later revealed that occult symbolism wasn't just tolerated in music marketing, it was engineered. Publicists discovered that suggestion was more powerful than confirmation. A subtle symbol in a photo shoot could ignite millions of debates online. The more mysterious the imagery, the higher the views. Hay admitted that he and others used controlled chaos to manipulate attention. They didn't need spells, only suggestion. The internet became the new altar, and every retweet, every theory was part of the ritual. The campaign turned belief itself into the product. Years after the whirlwind of leaks and engineered mystery, Lauren reflected on what it cost her emotionally. She described sleepless nights and strange coincidences, opportunities appearing, then vanishing just as quickly. The atmosphere around her felt charged, like everyone involved was feeding a storm. She confessed that even though she didn't believe in witchcraft, something about that period felt heavy, as if the collective focus created its own spiritual gravity. Her story wasn't one of guilt, but of awakening, realizing that myth-making can consume its creators as easily as its audience. When Jonathan Hay's admissions resurfaced, people began revisiting Diddy's lore. Suddenly, old interviews, photos, and parties took on new meaning. The penthouse gatherings, the black suits, the coded gestures. Was it marketing genius or meticulous myth-building? Every silence became a statement, every candle a clue. Even Diddy's own spiritual references, from manifestation to higher power, were reinterpreted as veiled admissions. Whether he fueled it or not, the rumor machine reawakened. Once an image is tied to ritual, it never dies. It just reincarnates with every repost. The entertainment world has always flirted with the forbidden. From Madonna's Like a Prayer to Beyoncé's Egyptian-inspired visuals, the occult sells because it unsettles. Executives learned long ago that controversy converts curiosity into profit. Behind the scenes, art directors collect ancient symbols like designers collect fabrics. Pentagrams, serpents, crescent moons, they're part of the visual language of power. Whether it's fashion or fear, the line has blurred. The aesthetic of mystery gives artists control over their narrative, while giving audiences something to decode a secret they think they've uncovered. Energy is the one word everyone in the industry uses, but no one defines. Producers, stylists, even publicists talk about vibes like priests describe prayer. It's not about literal magic, it's about momentum. When a project catches, it snowballs. When the mood's off, nothing lands. Some believe it's just psychology, others swear it's spiritual law. Diddy once said success has a frequency, and that phrase became gospel among his peers. Maybe that's the modern witchcraft, the idea that focused will can bend reality, one hit single at a time. Social media turned folklore into fast food. A strange pose, a cryptic emoji, a screenshot out of context, and suddenly a witch hunt begins. Fans play detectives, interpreting every frame like scripture. What once took decades to form now takes an hour on TikTok. Artists try to play along, but it's a losing game. The more they explain, the less people believe them. Online speculation doesn't seek truth, it seeks thrill. In that way, the internet has become its own haunted house, built on pixels and paranoia. Years later, Jonathan Hay walked away from the marketing world and began speaking publicly about balance, karma, and the price of manipulation. He called his earlier work a spiritual lesson in consequence. Some saw it as damage control, Others saw genuine remorse. Either way, he'd become part of the same myth he once sold. He no longer denied the power of symbols, only how easily they can be abused. For Hay, redemption meant transparency, naming the ghost he once helped conjure. As the witchcraft rumors raged, Rihanna seemed to lean into them not with defense, but with ownership. Her anti-era flipped every accusation into armor: black veils, occult art, rebellion framed as rebirth. She turned the fear into fascination, redefining what it meant to be untouchable. In interviews, she dismissed the idea of dark forces, but acknowledged the power of energy and intention. Whether by strategy or instinct, she transmuted myth into mastery. The same symbols once used to accuse her became her personal crown. Decades into his career, Diddy's image remains a paradox success cloaked in secrecy. Every reinvention, every rebrand, feels like another chapter in a story he's both authoring and escaping. Fans and critics alike still search for proof of the rituals that supposedly shaped his empire. Yet the absence of evidence only strengthens belief. His mystique has become self-sustaining, powered by whispers and memory. In an age where everything is exposed, Diddy's most powerful act may be what he keeps hidden: an aura that refuses to be fully explained. Maybe the real spell isn't darkness at all, but the fascination that surrounds it. Every rumor, every decoded lyric, every viral theory becomes fuel for a story too big to end. Witchcraft becomes metaphor, myth becomes mirror. In chasing the idea of hidden power, we reveal what we truly worship: attention, mystery, and control. Diddy, Rihanna, Jonathan Hay, Lauren, their names orbit a legend that says more about us than them. Because in the end, the modern ritual isn't in the music, it's in our obsession. From Diddy's coded mystique to Rihanna's evolution, from Jonathan Hay's confessions to Lauren's reflections, this entire saga reveals how stories take on lives of their own. What began as clever marketing mutated into digital mythology, a collision of image, imagination, and influence. None of it needs proof to feel real. It only needs belief. The modern music industry doesn't just sell songs. It sells energy, archetypes, and the idea that creation itself is a kind of ritual. In the next deep dive, we'll unravel how another icon turned myth into empire, and why the line between branding and bewitchment keeps getting thinner.